From the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kayla Cockrell with today's Free Press Voice Briefing. It's Monday, December 11th, 2023.
This is Christina Hall with the Detroit Free Press. Michigan secured nearly 100 more beds for youth in the juvenile justice system who need residential placement, one of several efforts by the state to address the need for more treatment options for young people. 60 of the placements are in Wayne County and will relieve crowding within the troubled Wayne County Juvenile Detention Facility. Another 20 are in the new St. Clair Youth Treatment Center, which is within, but separate from, the detention side of the Macomb County Juvenile Justice Center in Mount Clemens. The new program is focused on helping Wayne County, but ultimately could take youths from across the state. The expansion of placement options comes as Michigan works to reform its approach to juvenile justice. A recent package of bills passed in the legislature took aim at the reliance on detention, setting the foundation for more juveniles to be diverted into community-based programs. Since March, the state has secured new juvenile justice placements in Ingham County, Saginaw, and Grand Rapids, as well as Highland Park, Detroit, and Macomb County. 5 youth from Wayne County are in the St. Clair Youth Treatment Center. It will house boys ages 13 to 18 with a history of delinquent behavior and mental health, substance use disorder, and/or other behavioral needs. Nevada-based Rite of Passage won the contract to run the facility, its first in Michigan. Youth will continue schooling and receive mental health treatment and family and group therapy. They generally will stay for 9 months to a year before release and continue to receive follow-up care for at least a year, either through the program or available community programs.
For the Detroit Free Press, I'm Kristen Shamus with a story that just might help you answer the age-old holiday question, which is better? A real Christmas tree or the artificial kind? Dr. Christian Nadgett from Henry Ford Health says the bristles of a freshly cut tree can catch pollen and dust. Mold can grow on them too, causing respiratory symptoms. Fresh trees also have substances called resins and rosins in their sap that can cause an itchy rash if they make contact with your skin. Although artificial trees may seem like the better choice for people with allergies, they aren't a perfect solution either. Artificial trees can gather dust and harbor mold too if they're stored in basements where there are swings in humidity, Nadgett says. But the biggest problem with artificial trees is that most sold in the U.S. are made in China. The soft plastic needles on them typically are made of polyvinyl chloride, which contain phthalates. Phthalates are endocrine-disrupting chemicals that have been associated with reproductive harm and cancer, asthma, and neurodevelopmental problems. There are environmental considerations too. Even if you use an artificial tree for a decade or more. Bill Lindbergh, a Michigan State University Extension Christmas tree educator, pointed out that eventually they all end up in one place, the landfill, where they contribute to plastic pollution. Conversely, freshly cut trees are grown by American farmers, many of whom live and work right here in Michigan. They can be chipped and turned into mulch or compost at the end of the season. Choosing the right tree for your family isn't an easy decision. If you'd like to learn more about the pros and cons of real versus artificial trees at Christmas time, check out my story on freep.com.
I'm Andrew Burkle with the Free Press Sports Department. And on Sunday, the sloppy play from the Detroit Lions continued again, but this time they weren't able to overcome it, losing 28-13 to the Chicago Bears. The Lions really haven't played a complete football game since they beat the Las Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football back on October 30th. But amidst that, they've been able to find ways to win. A 3-point win over the Chargers on the road, a crazy comeback at home against the Bears. Sure, there was the bad game at home against the Packers, but then another close win on the road against the Saints. On Sunday, the game of Russian roulette once again caught up with them. Quarterback Jared Goff had another 3-turnover game, this time with 2 interceptions and a fumble. And the offense really struggled to piece together drives besides a brief stretch towards the end of the first half. And then there was the defense. Oh, that Lions defense. Even though they only gave up 28 points, it was much worse than that. They had absolutely zero answers for Justin Fields and his ability to run and escape the pocket. Fields finished the day 19 for 33 passing with 223 yards and a TD through the air, and then added 58 yards and a touchdown on the ground. Ultimately, though, it came down to this. The Lions didn't control the controllables. They had 8 penalties for 59 yards, and each one of them felt like they came at key times, killing drives or helping the Bears pick up first downs. You combine the penalties with the turnovers, and that's just not a recipe for winning. The Lions will now have to take a deep breath, regroup, and try to refine their identity during a short week. The Denver Broncos will be in town on Saturday night for a game at Ford Field. That means one less day to prepare for a Broncos team that's been playing pretty darn good football over the last few weeks. Long story short, it's not going to be easy for the Lions down the stretch. But would you expect anything different?
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com.